No, it doesn't affect me. But of course, you see some of them comments once in a while. I didn't know what he was saying now. But of course, we got Liverpool on Sunday as well. So Jamie is always looking at all these little things. We progressed over the years. 6th, the first when I was there for half a season. Then 3rd, 2nd. You can see the progress, improvement, development. And this season, we still want to improve. Yeah, we've signed some players that have raised expectations. Other teams have signed players and improved as well. So we're in the same boat as all the top teams. That there's pressure all the time. There's pressure on me, of course. But we've been through this before, and we've come through it as stronger as individuals and as a team. I've got my values, I've got my way of managing, and I believe in myself. As long as the club believes in me, that's I'm pretty sure that Jamie Carragher's opinion is not going to change that.
So that was Ole. You know, Trevor, whenever you ask anybody, what do you think of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, they always start with, I like Ole. I mean, who doesn't? And then you either get an explanation as to why they like him, or there comes a but. And at the moment, there's a but with a lot of people. And you seem we're making progress, are they?
They are. I mean, it's undeniable. They've finished 6th, then they finished 4th, was it? 2nd last season. So they are improving. They're having a sticky patch at the moment. The result against Leicester wasn't great. I go back to the summer and I look at the transfers, and listen, I got destroyed for saying they didn't need Ronaldo. I don't think they needed Ronaldo. They've got Cavani. I don't think they needed Sancho because they had Greenwood, who's playing out of his skin, by the way. I thought they needed a right back with a little bit more going forward and a holding midfielder, which they still haven't got, either of them players. So for me, they were vanity signings. And actually, Ronaldo going to Manchester United, he made that decision with his emotions, of his heart, because of the relationship he had with the club. Really, if he wanted to win more trophies and get more goals, he would have went to Manchester City. So on the back of that,
you had to get that in. He was thinking we wouldn't react to that.
They're now having difficult times, and Ronaldo, he can't play every game, but he's almost forced to play Ronaldo because he wants to play. They've got a really difficult run. They've got Atlanta tonight. They've got Liverpool at home. They've got Spurs away. They've got Atlanta in the return leg, and then they've got Manchester City. Let's have a chat after that, because that is 5 very, very testing games.
Well, I mean, look at what's preceded tonight, Simon. Leicester, they lose it, as we said, 4-2. Before that, they draw with Everton. Before that, they see off Villarreal by 2-1. But then defeat to Villa, then defeat to West Ham. I mean, in the Carabao Cup. I mean, at the end of the day, it is a mixed bag of all mixed bags. This isn't United.
Yep.
Where is consistency?
Well, it is United. It's been United of the last 8-9 years. It's not the United before 2013, but it's the United post-2013. Do you think they're going to progress this season? Do you think they're going to finish higher than second in the league this year? So that's the big question, isn't it? How long do you get before you can stop pulling out the card of being 4th loser, 3rd loser, 2nd loser, but never actually the winner? Because it's a very comfortable little argument to suggest that, not you, Trevor, but he's advancing it, that we're progressing, but you're not winning anything. And eventually you're going to have to win something. If the answer, again, is for the 4th season you're not going to win anything, then eventually that's going to run out. Now, I think that he's going to start managing properly now, because I think he's indulged. I think there's an element of the Ronaldo signing was, if they didn't sign Ronaldo, given Man City's interest, it would have been, Manchester might have been reminiscent of the Gaza Strip in terms of people's reaction to him signing for Manchester City rather than Manchester United. I do believe that he will be potentially, if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer doesn't start managing these players rather than himself to picking the big players that he finds it difficult to be able to manage, the Pogbas, the Ronaldos, the other players that are not pulling up trees need to be put in their places and picked on merit, not picked on the basis of the fact they're more difficult to manage. And I think you're going to find Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, after the defeat against Leicester, which was a spanking. They could have got beaten 5, 6, 7.
I think there's individual mistakes in there.
They were played off the park by Leicester. They were easy to play against. They scored a wonderful goal from Mason Greenwood, and I agree with everything you said. I don't think they needed to sign Ronaldo. I don't think they needed to sign Greenwood, and I think they needed to sign players in key positions that weren't necessarily those. Cavani is probably going to go out on loan in January, because he's not going to hang about playing second fiddle to Ronaldo or anyone else.
He doesn't play well when he's a bit part player.
Absolutely.
As well.
So you now look at it, and I think these games are made for United.
Yeah.
Atalanta, Liverpool, expectations suppressed.
Yeah.
Liverpool going to hand them their head. I think you're going to see some interesting results coming up.
Should he not be bigger than this, though? I mean, Ole. So, we hear Carragher there, along with Ollie's former teammate Gary Neville, making this damning analysis of his efforts this season. And Ollie then says, I prefer not to watch those two. It doesn't affect me. Of course he watches them. Of course he listens to them. Why wouldn't he? And why can he not take it on board that all of it is not going to be as complimentary as he might want it to be?
No, I think he can take the criticism. Whether he takes it on board and takes it with a pinch of salt are two different things. But for me, just looking at the games that I've seen, I watched them against Everton. I did the commentary at Everton. They were outworked. They were fortunate to come away from that game with a draw, and that was at Old Trafford. The West Ham game, they got beat fair and square. And again, I'll just refer back, and I don't mean to do this, but I'll refer back to the match last night when you're seeing the Manchester City players coming off the pitch. Absolutely shattered, because the work rate and the desire that they're showing to run through brick walls for their manager, I'm not seeing that replicated for Manchester United with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer.
But they don't play the same way, Trevor, so it's a silly argument. And how do you know Jack Grealish is knackered? Because he's got one of his slippers on. I mean, look, the fact of the matter is that Manchester United, the big argument that Danny Murphy was making and Graham Souness made at the beginning of the season was how United don't press. And how they don't press other teams and make them difficult to play against.
Because you've got luxury players. There's no luxury.
And there is a chance. So those players aren't going to come
hard
off the field knackered because of the style of play that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has set them up to play in. Now, when he changes that, which he will look at it, he will have looked at Leicester City and gone, right, I've got to draw a line under some of my thinking here because they were just very easy to play against. You've got luxury players like Bruno Fernandes playing in a side that need to be supported by less luxury players because otherwise they go missing in games.
Few dogs, yeah.
Right. So in that backdrop in mind, I don't think he needs to listen to Carragher and Neville. You know, with the greatest respect in the world, their management credentials are what? They can observe on the obvious, but their management credentials are what?
Yeah, but
so him not listening to
be honest with me. When they talk, people listen, and Ollie listens. Of that, there is no doubt.
Yeah, I know, but I don't understand your point you're making. Is why is it small-minded to say I prefer not to listen to him? What's small-minded about that? Are they the oracle then?
Just be open about it.
Maybe that's
just be open about it.
That's his honest opinion.
But that's not. But that's his honest opinion. I don't know how much more honest you can be.
Yeah.
I prefer not to listen to Gary Neville. I prefer, quite frankly, not to listen to Gary Neville. Does that make me small-minded? No, it just means I prefer not to listen to Gary Neville.
One thing they've got to realise tonight, they could come unstuck because Atalanta are flying. They were Empoli, of course, no world beater, but they went there at the weekend, they won 4-1. They've got players in there, Trevor, who are more than decent. Martin de Roon, the boy that was at Chelsea, David Zabacosta. They've got this fella, Josip Ilicic, who scores for fun.
They play with a great intensity, and that's why they're in the Champions League. We've seen it before. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, with his back against the wall, pulls a rabbit out of the hat. I wouldn't be surprised if he does that again.
Me either.
But listen, this run of games, 5 games, it's a real acid test. But it'd be interesting to see what the results are.
When did we start putting Tottenham as an acid test?
Away from home?
Irrespective of it, they've been rubbish for most of the season. They started the season with 3 games.
They've got good quality players.
Who did they beat?
And Harry Kane has started scoring again. So
who did they beat?
Be careful.
Early on in the season.
Who?
Tottenham.
Manchester City.
Of course, that's right. Good. I'm glad we got that mention in there.
Nice light blue.
Is it still your belief, incidentally, I'm not winding you up, Trev, but as we head towards this break, you still think of the 2 Manchester clubs, Ronaldo's picked the wrong one?
It's obvious. Come on, Jim. You know the answer to that. He's let the
How
decision.
would he play for Pep? Do you think? Come on, Pep had a battle with Aguero to get him to run and changed him. Do you think he's going to have that battle with Ronaldo?
But like you said,
you can change Man City for Ronaldo.
You can have a couple of luxury players.
Nonsense.
Who are going to put the ball in the back of the net. If everyone works around Ronaldo,
who's that for Man? Who's that? Who has that been for Man City under Pep Guardiola's tenureship? Who is he allowed to do what they want?
No one.
So why is he going to do it for Ronaldo?
He wouldn't let Ronaldo do what he wanted.
But Ronaldo can't do anything else other than what he wants.
But he's going to score goals.
So he's going to let him do what he wants.
You've got to treat Mavericks a certain way. But as long as you don't lose the rest of the players.
But that breaks the whole mould of what he's done.
Trevor,
you're
just still sick that you went to United.
Of course I'm not.
You are.
Who's going to finish
Sickening.
above? Who's going to finish above Manchester City? Manchester United.
So it's a better decision. But we're talking about the reality of what we've done for Man City.
He's made it with his heart and not his head.
What if he goes to? Would he go to Chelsea then? Because Chelsea might finish above Man City. What's your argument then?
If who would have went to Chelsea?
If it had been opportunity to go for Chelsea,
we would have taken Lukaku then.
Oh, Trevor.
Trevor, you're never going to say it, are you?
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Thursday morning, 10 till 1. On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.